We have loved our 2021 Honda CRF125FB, the big wheel version. This bike has been a blast and we've owned it for almost a year now. And I've decided, I've given it some thought, I'd like to highlight 5 things that I love about this bike. And the first one is the size, because I can ride it and ride it for real, not just mess around for 5 minutes, but I'm 39 years old, I weigh 180 pounds, I'm 5'7.5" tall, and I can go out for 2 hours on this bike and go for a real ride with my friends and have a good time on it and go where I want to go and do it comfortably. It's even got a pretty soft seat on it. And so it's a good size for me to be able to play on for real and ride for real. But also it's a great size for teenagers learning to use a clutch and a transmission. It's light, it weighs just under 200 pounds. The seat height is good. My 12-year-old son loves this dirt bike. He hops on it every chance he gets, and it's a good size for him. He's just under 5 feet tall, he weighs under 100 pounds, but he manages this bike very well, and it's a lot of fun for him. So it fits a pretty good range of riders, from that teenager, that, 10, 11, 12-year-old that's just learning to ride a real motorcycle, up to smaller adults like me can ride this bike for real, and that makes it a very good size. The second thing that I love about this bike, and that really drew me to it, is the fact that Honda put fuel injection on their trail bike line a few years ago, and that fuel injection is unique in this class. Kawasaki, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda all have bikes in this size, but Honda is the only one that has put fuel injection on their bikes. And I'm a fan of fuel injection, because I can tell you now, having ridden and used this bike a lot, that fuel injection makes it easy to start every time. Doesn't matter the temperature. It gives you very good, strong, smooth power from the bottom of the RPM range clear to the top in every gear and at any elevation. And it also helps it with fuel economy. This bike, I think, has the smallest fuel tank in its class, and it's only about a gallon, which worried me a little bit when I went to buy it, but I have found in my riding that I can do about 100 miles on this 1 gallon of fuel out trail riding it the way it's intended to be ridden. So I thank Honda and I applaud Honda for putting EFI on their trail bikes. The third thing that I love about this bike, I'm going to call ease of ownership. And it's really a combination between cost of ownership and ease of maintenance. It's a very proven design, and maintenance is easy. Maintenance is inexpensive. Ownership is easy, and ownership is inexpensive. I use the word inexpensive, understanding that that's a relative term. You could say that this is expensive compared to, say, a bicycle. But compared to dirt bikes and power sports in general, this is an inexpensive and easy machine to own. The owner's manual that comes with the bike gives very clear and thorough instructions on how to maintain the bike. It's just a joy to own because of how inexpensive and how easy it is to maintain and own. The fourth thing that I love about this bike is the performance. The power characteristics of this fuel-injected 125cc engine make it feel easy to get around on the trails and even to climb hills. The suspension is soft, doesn't feel stiff to me, and does a great job of soaking up trail bumps. I don't find myself bottoming the suspension on this bike very often, if at all. The exhaust sounds good. It has a nice, strong sounding note to it, but it's not loud. The front brake is very powerful and does an excellent job at bringing the machine to a stop. It'll go for hours on a gallon of fuel. I love the gearing on this bike. It's only a 4-speed manual transmission, but that's not a problem for me when I'm out riding. I love the very low first gear that it has, and I use it in slow speed technical riding. In that first gear, it's unstoppable. As a reminder, this is not a race bike. If anyone's looking at this bike and thinking they want to be ripping it around a motocross track and jumping it, It's just good to remember that while you could play with it that way, that's not what it's intended for, and judging it by those standards is not fair. As a get out there and explore and ride hard, have a good time, trail bike, off-road dirt bike, this bike is amazing. And the fifth thing that I love about this bike, and also really helped draw me to it as a purchase, is the styling. Honda recently, just within the last couple of years, redid these bikes and restyled them. And I think they did an excellent job. It looks a lot like their motocross bikes. I think Honda did an awesome job with the colors, the graphics, and just the overall design, this latest design of the 125cc bikes. If you are at all interested in owning a Honda CRF125F or FB, we invite you to watch our video series on this bike. It's an ownership video series where we go through and we honestly talk about the maintenance and the experience of owning and riding this bike, and we'll continue to do so in the coming months. We'll be publishing a 1-year review of the bike coming up here soon, but we've got a good, robust video series on the ownership and use of this bike, and we invite you to check out that video series. Thank you for watching.